Welcome to the Career Refresh Podcast. I'm your host, Jill Griffin. I'm a former media and marketing executive turned career strategist and executive coach. I spent my career working my way up and through the ranks of global organizations and startups, and today I show others how to do the same. Join me each week as we discuss the strategies and actionable steps to leverage your strengths, increase your confidence, and develop your career well-being. Ready? Let's do it. Hey friends, welcome back to the Career Refresh Podcast. I'm your host, Jill Griffin. So this week is the part 2 of our culture conversation. Last week, we talked about the 10 steps to either create or identify or spot a positive culture. And this week, I want to talk about what are the ways that you can be a detective and what are the types of questions you can ask to really ascertain a strong culture. So let's dig in. Okay, so now that we talked about my 10 areas that I think are pretty obvious on how to spot company culture or what you want to do in order to create and maintain a company culture, I now want to talk to you about if you are interviewing or you're looking to partner with people, how to get a feel for the company's culture, especially if you're not working there. So here's some research ideas that I recommend. Review their social media, look at their tweets, their videos, get an idea of what's important to both teammates and also what's important to leadership. And if applicable, look at the company's, their website, their marketing materials, their shareholder reports. What is it telling you about their culture? If you're meeting in person, show up early for the interview. See how the employees are interacting with each other and how they're relating to each other. I also want you to think about what does the workspace look like? Is it well cared for? Is it covered in boxes? Are people taking care of their space? How do employees treat the people in reception, the people in service positions that are the first line to welcome and greet guests? How do the other employees interact with them? I've worked in many a culture in which the people who worked in reception, the people who were in that customer success and customer support position were absolutely folded in and well part of the company and weren't treated as other, which I have seen happen in other organizations where because they're on the other side of the wall, those people in the frontline positions were not necessarily integrated into the culture. And that's just terrible. Ask questions to employees and note their response time. Quicker and the faster someone answers, if you're asking a tough question, is going to help you understand if they're telling you the truth or if they're trying to figure out how to creatively answer the question without giving too much away. Does the company make a big deal over the things that they have in their place recreationally? Do senior leaders make a big deal over things like we have a ping pong table and we have a really cool lounge space? I recently saw that the CIA apparently has a pretty fabulous hot dog machine. I didn't know that was a thing. And that's something that people are talking about. I don't really know that you get an understanding of what the culture is like to work for the CIA, but I thought the hot dog machine was kind of a neat thing that people were talking about. But again, if senior leadership is talking about those sort of quirky things, that to me is very performative. And you know very well that culture is more than a recreational game or performative. Check out Muse, Glassdoor, Ladders, and search for company profiles and look at the reviews. But it is human nature to complain. So know that people are much more likely to complain about the company versus post a positive review about the company. So really keep that in mind when you're looking at any of those reviews and use them, somewhat directionally. Don't actually believe that all of them are true. There are definitely people who just want to vent and completely dunk on their former company. And then when you're meeting with people, questions to consider asking. Find out what structure has been put in place to ensure that culture remains strong during the working from home environment, COVID, and if relevant, ask them how they see any of those learnings applying to the future workplace environment. How has the company's core values embraced in their daily work? What are they doing to make sure that people are understanding values and how they're using those to align priorities? Ask for examples and ask for examples at all levels of people that you're talking to, not just the person who may be your peer or your hiring manager. I would ask the people that you're talking to, again, at all levels, what they think about employee growth and what learning and personal and professional development is being offered. Is there an education stipend? I would ask people at different levels in different departments how they are seeing diversity and inclusion priorities play out in the day-to-day and what has actually been articulated publicly. I would inquire, are there regular all-hand or company meetings? And what were some of the topics that were discussed at the most recent one? And how are teams structured? Can they provide examples of how they work cross-functionally to ensure collaboration and accountability? Ask if there's a mentorship or buddy program. Are they invested in people, or are they just throwing people into the deep end and seeing how they perform? Find out about the onboarding process for new employees. How will they do this, especially if you're in a remote environment? And lastly, I want to talk about well-being. I am going to go into well-being in a future episode and really understand how both leaders, employers, and employees can support this. If you're a leader of your organization or an employer, ensuring that your organization emphasizes employee well-being is so vital to a healthy culture. So, okay, my friends, now you know my secrets for how to be a detective and how to spot and identify a company culture. And these are some of my top questions that I hear constantly really work when you're really trying to suss out either partners or an interview and get an idea of an internal culture, especially when you're not within the building. I would love to hear from you. What is working? What is not working? I will put my information in the show notes. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Have a great week. Hey, thanks for listening to the Career Refresh podcast. If you're enjoying this and you want more information, go to my website, jillgriffincoaching.com. There you can find information on how to work with me one-on-one or my group programs, or even bring me into your workplace. I'll put the link to my website in the show notes. But hey, listen, before you go, do me a favor, rate and review this podcast because it definitely helps me get the word out to people everywhere so that they can also thrive in the workplace. All right, friends, I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.